Hey ladies, it's Kristen. Good morning. I am still in warm and sunny Arizona, as you can see behind me. I had to bring you outside with me because I know a lot of you guys are where it's cold too and could use a little warmth and sunshine, and I am trying to soak up as much of it as possible while I am here because it is so nice. So today I'm going to be talking about money in our business. And, this comes up in a lot of different parts of our business. It's a big thing, especially when we're getting started, especially for those of us who are heart-centered entrepreneurs and a lot of times can feel almost bad about charging for our services or just, kind of have some hang-ups around that. And so it becomes a really important issue because running a business is, it's about helping people, of course, which is huge, but it's all about the money as well. Otherwise we would just be doing, a nonprofit or, volunteer work. And most of us are doing it with the intention of it being our source of income. So money becomes a very important part of all of this. And so I wanted to go through just a few different things today as far as, money in our business. Hey, Kiko. Yeah, if you guys are on, say hello. I always love to see who's on. And if you have any questions as I'm going, feel free to ask them as well. I love to get a little interaction going on because it makes it more fun. And then that way I can make sure I'm addressing whatever it is that you guys are wondering most about. So, yes, thank you. Hey, Noelle, Susie, hey. So first I want to start with kind of like the first thing that we get into as far as money in our business. And that's usually around pricing our programs. And Kiko, I know you were asking about this as well, and trying to figure out where do we price our programs. And I know for a lot of us in the beginning, like this can be a big jump because we've never been an entrepreneur. We've never had something where we're actually charging for our services, and that adds kind of another level of it because we're charging for our services. We're not charging for like a product or something too. So it's like we're kind of selling ourselves, which you're selling your service and your ability to help other people. So a lot of this just really goes into the confidence of knowing that we can provide that value for someone else. And so when it comes to pricing your programs, I always say, instead of really thinking about like I'm pricing it according to how many sessions I'm offering or, something like that, to instead view it as pricing it according to the transformation that you're providing. And if you go and you think about this, and this is where going and actually getting really clear on who your ideal client is. I always go back to your ideal client. Like, it's so important because it's becomes the foundation of your business and it's who you're creating everything towards. So once you know who your ideal client is, oh, hey, Amy, I'm not sure why you can't get it to play live. Maybe try clicking on it. Can everyone else see me live? Let me know if you're having any problems. But so when you know who your ideal client is, then you can create like a really specific program towards that specific person and towards the transformation that they want to accomplish. So the reason that anyone is going to sign up to work with you is because they want to create some sort of transformation in their life. So I really think like when you think about pricing your program, think about what the transformation is that you're providing for someone else and how much it can change their life. And for a lot of us, when we think about it, or that really, it's priceless. Like if you think about, I'm helping someone lose weight that they've been struggling to lose for 10 plus years of their life, and it makes them feel, not confident. It makes them not want to go shopping or put on a swimsuit or like feel good around their spouse or their significant other or go out on dates or whatever it is. Like if you help someone make that transformation and lose that weight and start feeling confident in their body, like that is priceless. Like it changes their whole life. Like it's such a big deal. So I think a lot of times we kind of forget about like how much we're really helping people. And, I work with people who help people around health issues, around relationship stuff, around, weight. Obviously, I'm helping people around business. Like, there's so many different things, but they're all really like big transformational things that we're helping people with. And so there's, the price with that should reflect that. The other thing is by charging a higher price for your services, people are more committed. They're more likely to follow through. They're more likely to take it seriously. They're more likely to do the work, even when it sucks or it scares them. And so people get better results. It's truly like across the board. Like it just is like the more someone is investing in something, the more committed they're going to be and the better results they're going to get. So actually by charging a higher price, you are doing people a service, and you're also going to start attracting a higher quality ideal client as well, because the people who are willing to really pay that higher price point are the people who are like committed, and they realize like how big of a deal it is for them, and they're ready and they're going to do the work no matter what. And so when you start thinking, oh, I need to, lower my prices or give discounts or whatever it is, you're going to get the clients that reflect that. So you're going to get people who aren't totally committed, who aren't totally going to be following through, who when the work gets hard, they're going to, stop doing it. And it's not going to feel like that big of a deal for them because they didn't invest that much money in it. Hey, Jenny, I see you're on, and Lisa too. Hey. So Lisa says she noticed this with practice clients. So I hear this from people all the time. Like a lot of times in school, they tell you to do some free sessions with people. And a lot of times I hear people get really frustrated because the people they're doing their free sessions with, like, don't follow through or take it seriously. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like I can't really help people. I can't really help people get results. And it's not because of your coaching or what you're doing. It's because of the clients who you attracted when you were offering things that were free or at a lower price point. They don't have the skin in the game. You know what I mean? Like it's not that big of a deal to them. So it's always easiest for us to keep doing what we've always been doing, kind of get that momentum. And when it comes to people having to actually change those habits, it's hard. That's like where coaching is so good, like helping people change those habits where people get stuck. And a lot of times having people actually put a lot of money into something, what feels like a big investment to them, is going to be one of the things that gives them that extra push to follow through and make those changes. So when it comes to your prices, like I'm telling you, charging more is actually better. And if you're like, what is more, like what are these price points? It's a little different for everyone. I don't like to say like everyone start at this price point. I mean, I think everyone should be charging at least $1,000 for like a 3-month program, but you can definitely charge more than that for sure. And like I said, I think people get better results. And if you think that lowering your prices is going to get you more clients, it's not true. And I realized this too, when a lot of times, like back when I was getting started, I would offer people my regular package, which was a 3-month, a couple $1,000 package. And then I would go back to those people and I'd be like, well, because they said it was too much or whatever. And I'd go back and I'd say, oh, like I have this, 1-month session that I'm offering, or like a mini intensive or whatever. And those same people would be like, oh, it's too much. And it was only like a couple $100. So obviously, like, it didn't really matter what the price was. It's just either they weren't ready or they weren't really committed, or, whatever the story was that was going on for them. But it really had nothing to do with my prices or that they were too high. So definitely something that I learned along my journey in doing that. And Jenny is saying she struggles with that so much. So Jenny, tell me what about it specifically that you struggle with too. And I'll get into, money objections as that comes up for people too. That's another thing that I want to talk about. I just want to see if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about as far as pricing your programs. I think knowing that you can raise your prices at any time. So you could get one client at whatever price point you start at and then raise it. So And it should just feel aligned for you. It should feel like a bit of a stretch, but you don't want it to feel like, oh, I feel uncomfortable saying this price, or it feels ridiculous to me. Because if you're saying a price that you just like don't even believe in and you don't feel aligned with it, it's not going to work out. So don't just charge a higher price that you don't feel like confident about. So it should be a little bit of a stretch, but not like something that feels ridiculous to you, or like you don't believe that people will actually pay that. Kiko asked if I recommend having your prices on your website. I actually don't. When I was getting started with coaching, pretty much everyone was putting their prices on their website, but I've noticed a change as far as people not putting their prices on their website so much. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to do it. I think you could do it either way. Why I don't put my prices on my website is because I think that the money conversation should be had over the phone with your client, and it should be in relation to the transformation that you're providing. Like I said, it's not about how many sessions you're having or whatever. It's more about what the results are and how important it is to them to be getting those end results. And so, like I said, I don't put it on my website, and I've noticed a lot less people are doing that. So, I think it's up to you. If you feel a lot more comfortable and you want to do it, go ahead. But that would be my personal recommendation. The other thing I wanted to say, and Kiko, I'll get back to that. I just wanted to pop this in before I forget. Oh gosh, what was it now? Something about your package. Oh, okay. So another thing that we think, because we hear this a lot from other coaches and ways that they're doing things. And I'm not saying this is wrong, but being taught that you should do like a low price beginning offer where you're selling like a $27 like ebook, and then like $149 mini course, and then like a little bit up of a jump from that to another program, and then like your full out 3-month private program or whatever. And truthfully, like I kept being taught this by coaches, business coaches that I was learning under, and it didn't feel right to me. So I never did it. And the reason why is because I don't believe in offering someone something that isn't going to really help them. And I know that a $27 checklist is not going to really help someone. I know like some mini course that someone does on their own and has no support is not going to really help them get the results. So I never wanted to offer those things. And I don't think you have to. So if you're, hearing things like, oh, you have to have these little offers and stuff, you don't, and don't do them if you don't really want to do them. And I hear from a lot of people, and I know myself, like, I mean, how many people I hear from that have done things like B school even, and that's, I think it was like $2,000 when I did it a couple of years ago. I don't know what it's at now, but you look there now, like that's, it's a fairly big investment, but it's not a huge investment. And a lot of people sign up for it and never do anything with it. And I know I really didn't either, because you don't have the accountability to really help people through it. And it's not really that high of a price point either, if you kind of look at it. And the same thing too, if you sign up for any things that aren't, at a very high price point and they don't offer a lot of accountability and stuff, a lot of times people just don't get the results. So I think if you really want to be doing that transformational work, just do that and just offer that higher price point package that really gets people the results. That's all you have to do. You don't have to make it complicated having all these different offers. So I just want to put that out there. Kiko, let me just see what your question was. Oh, and she was asking about the true price points is our smaller, shorter package. And so having a shorter package and then having a premium main package. And so that's what I was just talking about. I mean, I think it's something you can do if you really want to. But like I said, I really believe in giving some people something that's going to actually get them the results. And, it's something that you could play with if you wanted to say like a 1 month, package. But like I said, I had it happen in the past where a few people who I did a shorter package with, ended up working with me longer, but most people did not. And so then they just start and then they don't get, like, I bet I could follow up with a lot of those people now and they would be in the same place in their business because they didn't continue working with me. So they didn't really get those transformations. And so for me, like, I want to work with people who I know I'm going to help them get far enough to actually get the results that they really want to get. So that's my personal take on that. But let me know if you have any more questions on that as well. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was just money objections and when those come up when you're doing coaching calls or clarity calls, consultations, whatever you want to call them. So for a lot of people, when this happens, they just kind of close down and they're like, oh my gosh, like, the person is saying they don't have the money or they're saying it's too much or whatever. So the thing is, like most people are going to have some sort of money resistance because it's, first of all, people are signing up to do something that is going to be challenging for them because they are looking at making those transformations. So one of the main ways that people are going to have the resistance come up is around the money. And so when this happens, what I always recommend doing is taking people back to the transformation that they're going to get through the process and whether that is worth it for them or how important it is for them to get. And then, is that worth spending, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to get that end result? Is that worth it for you? People who are really committed, it will be. People who aren't, like sometimes you're just going to get people who aren't, it's not that important to them. Sometimes I ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this for you to get the end result, or how important is for you to make this change? Some people, it's not that important to them. So, and that's fine. But when people do have money resistance, don't, like as a coach, it's your responsibility, I would say, to be willing to walk with them through that and look and dive a little deeper into it. So don't just, oh, they have money resistance, they're not going to be a client, or give up. Like, walk into it, look what's going on for them. Maybe it really is that they don't have the money. Like sometimes I talk to people and they're like, I don't know how I'm paying my rent. Like, I'm like, okay, well, obviously you shouldn't be spending a bunch of money to be starting a business right now if you don't know how you're going to be paying your rent. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So in that case, like, yes, like maybe they really don't have the money. But for a lot of people, it's just really their priorities and where they're seeing it. And even things like, oh, like I need to pay off, debt on something. Well, okay, like the debt, you can always pay that off at some time. Like if you have something that's really impacting your life, like I think it's more important to deal with that before you're dealing with debt. Like that is just debt, like whatever, like it's not, it doesn't have to be some evil, bad thing. Like, it's more important for you to be living a life that you really like and being happy and healthy than it is, to worry about like some debt. So sometimes it's just kind of looking at how people are viewing things to help them see really like the value of investing in something. And then one other thing I wanted to say around that too is that as coaches, I think it's important for us to invest in ourselves and for you to feel comfortable doing that, because I hear, from a lot of coaches like, oh, I don't want to invest in myself or my business or, work with a coach or whatever, even though I know I need the help. Well, if you're saying that, then that's what you're going to hear back from your clients. If you're saying I don't believe in investing in myself and I don't believe in, investing in my business, like, why are your clients going to invest in working with you then? Like it just doesn't make sense. So I think just being in an alignment and integrity with that, it makes sense. And if you're in a place where you really feel like you can't invest in your business, get a job or something that allows you to be able to do it. Like, I think that's really important. I did it when I was starting my business. I worked like a random job just so I had that money coming in. To be able to support me. And this was even after I was a doctor. Like I was a doctor, I had my chiropractic degree, and I did visual merchandising at Macy's just so I had like that income coming in so I could, start my business and be able to put money towards my business. So I think that's important to invest in your business. And the other thing I would say is that having some money to invest in your business is important to set it up to really be successful. So I find that the people who are willing to invest some money in setting up their business and in like paid marketing and stuff, like you don't have to do it, but it can really make a difference. If you look at any of the coaches who are like killing it on the online world, they're all using paid marketing because it can be really reliable. You can like track your results. You can see what's working really easily. And it works really well. So I'd say like that's when you know you're really serious about your business and you're really giving it that chance to be successful. So like I said, like everything's energy. So if we have our hangups around spending money in our business and around, spending money on ourselves and our personal development and where we need it, you're going to hear that same thing coming right back from your clients to you in their resistance. So just kind of look at that. Is that something for you that's going on right now? Kiko, let me see. You had a question. Have I found that full payment at the beginning to be the best way? Okay, so yes. Okay, so Kiko's asking about taking payments, and I do recommend getting the payment in full in the beginning if you can. So this is what I would say. Offer a big enough discount for people to pay in full so that it is enough of an incentive for them to do that. And then if not, and they really want to pay those monthly payments, like sure, go ahead and do it. Set it up so that the payments are automatically, and that works much better so that you're not like having to send them invoices. I've used PayPal, and now I'm actually using Stripe. Stripe was recommended to me, and it actually I think is a lot easier than PayPal. So I just very, very recently switched. I mean, they both work. The thing about Stripe is that you can take payments over the phone, which I actually recommend doing that too, because then you don't have to worry about sending them an invoice and maybe their resistance kicking in and talking them out of actually paying it, that type of thing. If you just take it on the phone, it's done. You don't have to worry about it. And you can set up monthly payments with Stripe too as well. So that's what I would say. But if people pay in full, like it's showing like I'm fully invested, and I've had people do either way, and it works out fine either way. But I would just say make it an incentive for them to pay in full, because it's less of a risk for you and less that they have to think about. Like it's done for them. So Lisa was asking if there's a charge for Stripe. There is not. There's a charge for taking any sort of credit card payments. So anytime you take a payment through Stripe or through PayPal, you're going to get a percentage. Yeah, 2.7 sounds about right. So you're going to get a percentage taken out just through because you're taking a credit card. And I think if you do it through PayPal, it's right about the same. And it may actually be a bit higher if you take the payment over the phone versus sending them an invoice, because there's a little bit more risk there. But like I said, I think it's worth it because it's just, you get it, it's done. You don't have to think about it or worry about them possibly not following through. And it's kind of nice for them because, sometimes they sit there and they get that invoice and they're like, oh my gosh, and they kind of go through that fear again. So if you just do it with them on the phone while you have them, then that doesn't become any sort of issue for either of you guys. So let me know if you have any other questions. I think that I covered everything that I wanted to. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Kind of the importance of doing the packages and just how it makes it so much easier for you. Because a lot of times, I know this was just coming up this weekend when I was doing a video as well, but coaches wondering, can I really make the money that I want to be making as a health coach or as whatever type of coach? And you can, but I think having some sort of program or package offering is absolutely essential to do that. And I was just talking to a client the other day, and she had been charging just like per one session and allowing her clients to do that. And so when we were looking at figuring out like, okay, how many clients do you need? And if you're charging like $100 per session, it ends up being, you know, really confusing and overwhelming to even like try to be thinking about that. So, I mean, let's say, yeah, so if you're looking at like, I would need to get, if you were charging $100 per session, then you're looking at like, I need 50 clients sessions this month to be making $5,000, which gets really confusing, versus if you were charging, let's just say $1,000 per client, then you need 5 clients. It just becomes so much easier and more doable than trying to charge per session, or having really low prices. So having that higher price point, and having a package where someone's working with you over an extended period of time makes making your income goals way, way, way easier and very doable. It really is, especially once you get your marketing rolling. But that consistent marketing is key, absolute key to getting that consistent income coming in. So, and that's something that I'm always very passionate about helping people, because you don't have a business unless it's consistent and you can rely on it, because otherwise you can't be, you know, doing it full time. So that's always my goal. Like, let's set up a marketing plan to make sure that you have those consistent clients coming in and that consistent income coming in, so you can make this your full-time gig, you know, and make the income that you want to make. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. If not, like I guess I'm ready to wrap it on up. And, you know, thank you guys so much for joining me. If any of you are feeling stuck around money issues or around how to get those consistent clients coming in so you can make the consistent income, like I said, definitely something I'm really passionate about and good at helping people with. So let me know, send me a message, you know, send me, write a comment or whatever, and we can hop on the phone and I can see where you're at and where you want to go and help you figure out how to get there. I'd be more than happy to do that. So Kiko, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kiko, for joining. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, all of you guys that are on. You know, I know this is a big topic and something I actually love to talk about. Yeah, thanks, Lisa, too. Thanks for joining, guys. So enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, it's sunny here. I'm going to have to go work on my tan some more. And I have a few calls with some of you lovely ladies this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, I hope all of you guys have a good rest of your day. And if you have any other issues or any other questions, let me know. Susie, yeah, thanks for joining. I will talk to all you guys soon. Bye.